And then if they find a good storehouse of value, which is like a flower bed that's not too far away and that's rich, then they go back and they dance. And they indicate by the quality of their dance where the flowers are, but also how much energy needs to be expended to get there, but how much energy they will be acquired in consequence of the voyage. Okay. And they do that in part by intensity and duration of dance.
Wow.
Right. So now imagine what they're doing. You see what they're doing. So it costs a bee to expend energy.
Yes.
Right. So if another bee watches the bee that's communicating, expending energy, the lesson is something like, this bee is so convinced that that energy source is worthy of investigation that it's willing to risk expending energy to communicate about it.
Yes.
Okay, so and
starting to feel like a bee right now. Just
well, exactly. That gets the other bees excited, but it's not. As you said, it's an experience and it's not an argument.
Yes.
It's like the bee is demonstrating by its willing to sacrifice its energy that the end goal is worth the attainment. Okay, so that's very much analogous to what you're doing on stage.
It's true.
Because you're expending, you said right at the beginning, you're expending 11,000 calories in an 11-hour period, and you're able to maintain it.
Yeah.
So people watch that and they think, they see, and this is at a level that's so primordial that even insects can do it. They see that you're willing to risk a tremendous expenditure of energy over a very long time to communicate a particular pattern of perception.
Yes.
And so that's convincing because it's what would you say? It's an existence proof. Yes. Okay, now you said some other things that are extremely interesting that I think are worth delving into. So you talked about pull motivation. So
versus push.
Yeah, versus push. So pull motivation is positive emotion. It's the manifestation of the same dopaminergically mediated positive emotion that indicates the existence of a valuable store of treasure.
Yes.
And so that's kind of a quest issue. It's like, so we're wired so that we feel enthusiasm when we see ourselves moving towards a valuable goal. Okay, now and then you said some other things very carefully. You said you're not a guru, and what that means in part is that you're encouraging people to believe that there is a goal and that goals are worthwhile, but they have to come up with the goals themselves.
That's right.
Right. And right. Well, that's all.
It has to be life on their terms, not mine.
Absolutely. Well, it's partly because they need to establish their own conditions for satisfaction, and they have to do that in consequence of their own contemplation.
Yes.
You know, and by the way, you have a copy of my book here, We Who Wrestle with God.